Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Rodrigue, and I am Michael, the founder owner and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the online TOEFL course, the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. Wow, so let's take a look at your situation. So you are beginning your TOEFL journey, but it's not really just a TOEFL journey. You're moving along the path of improving your academic English language proficiency. Right? So let's take a look at your situation. You say, I'm planning to take a TOEFL exam on January 2017. And change this to in because you did not give the specific days. So my previous score, I would say it like this, that I got last year was 38 out of 120. So you got 12 points in the reading, 2 points in the listening, you have 10 points in the writing, you have 14 points in the speaking. You say, and I need to reach at least 90 within 3 months. I would change this to can. I can invest 3.5 hours a day from October to December 2016 to prepare for this test. You say, so I wonder if your course can help me reach my goals. And the answer here is yes. Yes, 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 and yes. But the question is, your question is specific, so I don't want to be too optimistic here. You're saying that you want to go from 38 to 90 within 3 months. My course can help you reach your goals, but probably not within that time frame. I hate to tell you, but you're probably looking at a lot more time than just 3 months. It is what it is. Your English skills are just not where they need to be right now. It's going to take time to improve. You have so many language issues. You have problems with your writing, with your speaking, with your reading, your vocabulary, your pronunciation. It takes time to work out all those issues, right? It really does. So I would like you to look at your TOEFL journey. Instead of trying to go from 38 to 90, which is just, I mean, what is this, like a 58 point, 60 point improvement? It's just so much. So let's think of it like this. First of all, your first goal is to go from 38 to 60. To me, that's what you want to try to do first. You want to try to get to this minimal kind of level of English. If you can get to 60 or 61, that is a good start. That's what you want to do first, right? So in my opinion, to go from 38 to 60, maybe you can do that in 3 months, maybe, right? So then once you've done that, then your next goal is to try to go from 60 to 80, and that's probably another 3 months right there. And then once you've reached that goal, then you want to go from 80 to 90 plus. And even that is you're probably looking at 2 to 3 months time. I got to be realistic. I'm not going to sit here. I know there's TOEFL websites out there and there's people out there. They tell you what you want to hear. They want your business. They want you to pay a lot of money. But I'm telling you right now, do not join my course if you think you can reach your goal in 3 months. I just don't want you to do that because I'm not going to be right with myself if I tell you that because I don't think that's going to happen. Right? So what do we know here? We know here you're probably looking at anywhere from, you're probably looking at 8 to 9 months of study before you're going to be able to reach your goal. That is the realistic picture here. That's what you're looking at, right? Now, part of my job is to tell you how to get there. But I want you to understand the timeline first, because if you can't even agree with the timeline I'm setting up here, there's no sense in joining my course, because you're going to have false expectations. Okay, now you'll probably notice in the timeline, I set the first goal as 80. No, the first goal is 60, because 60, 61, that's an acceptable standard for undergraduate study at many universities here in the United States. I think that's the first goal, is try to meet that one standard. So once you've done that, then you're trying to meet the second standard. 80 or 81 is an acceptable goal or acceptable level of English for many of those students who want to study in graduate programs here in the United States, right? And then we get to the last one, which is 90. 90 to 100 is a goal that really competitive universities set here in the United States, and even some professional programs, they'll set a goal of 89 or 90 for the people taking the test. That means you need to have pretty high English skills, right? Now, my recommendation is this, is really 8 to 9 months is what you're looking at. I'm being honest with you. Maybe you can prove me wrong. You might be an exceptional language learner, maybe. However, based on your test that you took, you're probably not what I call an exceptional test taker. Some students are natural test takers. Other students, if you're like me, you don't do well on standardized tests. You got to work your butt off, and you got to study, study, study. Then you take the test, and you get a little bit higher. Then you study, study, study. You got to study a lot, and then you take it another time. You're getting a little bit better, but you don't get all your results as quickly as you want. I'm guessing that's probably what's going to happen with you. Okay, so anyway, here's my study plan. You can take it. You can leave it. I'm basing my study plan. I'm basing my suggestions on more than 22 years of experience. I have taught tens of thousands of TOEFL students. So I've really seen everything. I had a student in your situation. His goal was 80. It wasn't 90. He did reach his goal in 6 months, but he had to work super, super hard, really hard, right? Okay, so remember that once you become one of my students, you can study anything that you like. You can focus on anything that you want. I have over 700 vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking lessons. So I have everything that you need. I have at least 6 months of study that you can use my course. It's a very robust course with a lot of practice, right? So certainly for 3.5 hours a day, if you're studying for 3 months and you're doing 3.5 hours every day, you will make progress. The question is, how much progress can you make? My best guess is you'll probably be closer to the 60 to the 80 range within those 3 months if you study hard. That's where you're going to be when you retake the TOEFL exam, all right? Okay, so here's my study plan for you. Again, you don't have to follow my study plan, but this is what I recommend for you. Part of the key for you right now, because of your English, is vocabulary. The next one is pronunciation, and then the next one is grammar. This is what I recommend first for you. Okay? I'm going to recommend that you go through the vocabulary, pronunciation, and the grammar sections of my course. Do those first. Just that'll probably take you 3 months, because the vocabulary part of my course, it will help you learn 1,700 college level words. Once you master those words, many things are going to happen positively for you. You will be a much better reader. You will be able to listen better on academic topics. You will have better control over your writing and your speaking because you have better vocabulary. So you will be able to more fully express your ideas as you speak and write. So many good things are going to happen, but it takes time. And my vocabulary section, it doesn't have a lot of tips and tricks. It doesn't have tips and tricks to somehow scoring high in the TOEFL. You need to learn the words. My recommendation is to download all the audio files of the vocabulary words in my course. You need to download them, put them on your smartphone, put them on your iPad, put them on your notebook computer, put them on a CD, whatever. Start listening to these words as much as you can. Practice, 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 and really make these words part of your English. Right? So you want to go through the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar sections first. So my recommendation is don't just study vocabulary or pronunciation first or grammar first, but study lessons in each of these areas. It'll be a little bit better variety for you. So let's say that you're planning out your study for tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow is Monday, right? So do vocabulary lesson 1, do pronunciation lesson 1, do grammar lesson 1. Then you can go to vocabulary lesson 2, then pronunciation lesson 2, and then grammar lesson 2, and then on and on and on, right? So each day, try to study in these 3 areas until you finish all the lessons. And remember, as you're studying in my online course, you should also have a journal. You should have a journal that divides up into the 7 sections of my course. So part of your journal is for vocabulary. Another part of your journal is for pronunciation. Another part of your journal is for grammar. So really focus hard in the big 3. I'm really telling you the big 3 right now is important for you because your English skills are a little bit lower. So you want to focus a lot more right now in these first 3 sections of my course. Now, once you've mastered those, then you can go to the listening and the reading sections of my course. You can do this next. Now, let me explain a couple of things here. At my website, I have 40 listening practice tests. Now, you want to maximize your practice with these lectures, right? I also have 70 speed reading tests, and the 70 speed reading tests are designed to help you increase your reading speed from 100 to 350 words per minute. Now, remember, if you've already studied the vocabulary part of my course, then you're now ready for the second part, which is the listening and the reading. So first of all, as you do the listening and the reading practice tests, obviously just complete the exercises and do the comprehension exercises. You want to do that. We all know that, right? Now, here's another thing you don't know about my course. I also recommend, as you do the listening and the reading practice, focus a lot on note-taking. So we'll say here, let's call this A. So you want to take down in note form, you want to get down the main and the most important supporting points of the listening and the reading passages. That's first. Now, your notes are probably not going to be very good. However, they'll be better after you've done the vocabulary, pronunciation, and the grammar sections. There's a lot of content for you to practice in just those 3 areas. But as you do the listening and the reading areas, make sure that you're note-taking. But that's not enough. The next thing, I want you to write summaries of the listening and the reading passages using your notes. And it doesn't need to be graded by me, but each summary should be around 150 words. That's going to be very good practice for your integrated writing area. You want to do that. Now, as you can probably guess, I'm also going to suggest that you give some oral summaries. I'm going to say 60-second oral summaries. You should record yourself doing these oral summaries so you can listen. You can listen to some of your pronunciation. This is good. And also your speaking. You're getting used to what your limitations are. Because part of your job is to figure out where you need improvements. And that's also part of my job as your TOEFL IBT specialist and as your TOEFL IBT writing and speaking specialist. I will give you feedback so you can see what the problems are as it relate to your overall areas in the TOEFL exam, but also I will tell you what specific problems you're having with your speaking and writing. So that's what you're doing second. You're doing the listening and the reading. You're completing the comprehension exercises, but you're also note-taking and you are writing and giving oral summaries about that information. You need to do this regularly. So maybe for each listening passage, you want to write a summary of that listening passage. For each reading passage, do the same thing. So there's 70 reading practice tests on my website today. So that means you want to do 70 150-word summaries. You want to do 60. No, you want to do 70 60-second oral summaries. That's going to be very, very good practice. So what you're doing as you're going through my course, you're using a lot of the vocabulary in the form of writing and speaking. That also helps you to learn the words. Now, something else that you might want to know. The vocabulary section presents to you 1,700 TOEFL level words. Now, guess what? I recycle those words in the pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking areas. It means that you will continue to see those words in the different sections of my course, and that will also help you to re-see them or review or re-recognize or whatever, and that will help you to retain your knowledge and your memory of those words that you're studying. So I did that on purpose. Okay, now once you've done this one, step 2, then you can complete the writing and the speaking sections of my course. This is the last thing you want to do. And what you want to do here is, once you've gone through the first 2 steps, you've developed good vocabulary, you've been working on your pronunciation, you've been studying grammar, you've been doing a lot of listening and reading practice. But remember, you've also been writing and speaking about that information. So once you get to step 3, you should be pretty good at this point. So at my website right now, I have 40 independent writing practice tests today. I have 43 integrated writing practice tests. Once you get to this section of my course, you should be completing these writing practice tests almost on a daily basis. You see what I'm saying? And my teaching assistant will give you feedback on your writing. Now, my job, I spend more time in the speaking area, which is very, very difficult for many students. But you can always ask me a question about anything that you're doing at my website, and I will certainly give you guidance and instruction, and I will help you get better. So when you're doing the speaking practice, hopefully, as you've gone through the pronunciation section of my course, you've already been submitting pronunciation practice tests online, but then you can also submit speaking practice tests online. All right, so then you will see, as you're doing the writing and speaking practice, you'll see how close your scores are to 30 points out of 30, right? Now, my suggestion is, I have a companion website. It's not my website, but somebody else's website, but they offer full-length IBT TOEFL practice tests. They take 5 hours to complete these tests. What I would do if I were you, as you work on the different sections of my course, especially here, I would, after you've done the vocabulary, after you've completed the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar practice, I think it's a good idea at this point to complete a full-length IBT TOEFL practice test. So after the first 3 months, the question is, how close are you to this first goal? So after 3 months of following my program and focusing on the first 3 areas of my course, if you take a full-length practice test, the actual website is called ScoreNexus. I don't offer 5-hour practice tests on my website, but their website, they've created the platform that mirrors the TOEFL platform, so the software and everything works very similar. So I couldn't do that. I have no idea how to do that, to be honest with you. But if your score is about 60, you're on track. in my opinion. If you're higher than 60, you're even doing better than what I thought. But that's what I would do first, is to take that practice test. Now the next thing. Okay, then you spend maybe another couple of months doing the listening and the reading practice. You remember what I'm saying here? To really done this, if you write, you have 40 written summaries that you've written about the listening passages. You have another 70 summaries you've written on the reading passages if you've done all that. And then you have at least 40 60-second summaries of the listening passages. You have 70 60-second summaries of the reading passages. If you've done all that, that's a lot of practice. You are now ready to complete another practice test. Definitely. Right? You want to do that. Then you do the writing and speaking sections of my course. And then once you've completed that, you can maybe take one more IBT TOEFL 5-hour practice test and check your score again. So here's what I'm saying is, with this practice test here, you want to be close to 80. To me, that would be good. No, wait a minute. I would say 60. The first practice test, you should be close to 60. That's what I would say there. Now this one, you should be closer to 80 after you do the listening and practice, because this puts you about 5 months into your study. And then with the writing, after the writing and speaking, you take it one more time, and then this is when your goal, you should be closer to your goal of 90 out of 120. That is it. So this is pretty much, in my opinion, how you get there. All right, so I think we are pretty close to wrapping this thing up. Okay, so to recap what I said, probably you're looking at 8 to 9 months, I think, for you to reach your goal to go from 38 to 90. In honesty, that's probably what you're looking at. Now, of course, there are exceptions to what I'm saying here. Maybe you can prove me wrong. Who knows? But that would be my guess based on thousands of students that I've already taught over the last 22 years. Okay, now, I created a study plan for you, and I did say, I said if you join my course, you can use my course any way you like. You have complete, unlimited access to all of my lessons. However, I suggest you use my course in the following way. Remember, once you join my course, you're going to go into my website. You're like, what in the heck? Michael, you got 700 lessons here. I say, yes, I know, I do. And the 700 lessons focus in the 7 steps of my course. So the lessons focus around vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Those are the 700 lessons in those categories. So my suggestion was for you, focus in vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar first, probably for the first 90 days. Then take a full-length IBT practice test, and hopefully your score is close to 80. If it's close to 80, you're great. You're on track. If it's over 90, fine, you're done. But probably that's not going to happen. You'll probably be closer to 60 at that point. Second thing, then you're going through the listening and the reading sections of my course. Like I said, note-taking, writing, speaking. And once you've done all that, then you do another full-length IBT practice test. Hopefully, your score is around 80. That's what we're looking for. If you're close to 80 after 5 months, I would say you are doing incredibly well. You're doing very well, really. And then once you've done that, then you have between 5 and 8 months, you're focusing more around the writing and the speaking sections of my course. And then once you've done all of that, you do one more practice test, and hopefully this time, after approximately 8 or 9 months, we're looking for the magic score of 90 or higher. If that practice test says 90, that means you are ready to take the TOEFL IBT exam. Remember, the TOEFL test is $200. These practice tests I'm telling you about, they cost about $30. And guess what? You get the same information that you will get if you spend the $200. So I'm actually helping you to save a lot of money, but you're also getting the information that you need about your academic English language proficiency. Wow. And that's it. And in the conclusion of the video, I apologize. Sometimes I can be very direct. I'm not trying to offend you in any way. I'm just trying to be honest and to give you the information that you need so now you can make a decision. And the question is, do you want to join my online TOEFL course, right? I hope to have you as one of my students. And remember that I am only an email away. And remember, a lot of online courses don't do this. You complete pronunciation, speaking, and writing practice tests, and you get feedback from me. Even you can complete a writing practice test and a speaking practice test daily. Every day if you want. And I will give you feedback on those things so you can monitor your progress each week and each month. You can see where you are. You can see how you're doing. And when you're doing the speaking, I always give you audio feedback, just like I'm talking to you now. That's exactly how I'll talk to you when you do the speaking practice, except when I'm grading your speaking, I will give you comments as they relate to your pronunciation, language use, and topic development. So like I said before, it's a good idea to keep a journal and keep a journal that focuses on the different steps or the different sections of my course. And you want to take down notes as I give them to you. As I give you information, you can write those things down. All right, well, good luck to you. So, wow, what a journey. Maybe you and I can begin this journey together.